So I've got a 1998 Toyota 4Runner, and it's been giving me a check engine light code P0441, which I believe is the evap canister assembly, something to that effect. So this morning I went to my local pull apart and picked up another evap canister assembly. It was off a 1997 Toyota 4Runner. I think the third gens are 96 through 2000, so if you find any in that range, the parts should match up. It was pretty easy to get off. It was 3 bolts and some hoses. When I got it to my vehicle, there's 2 little sensor things that also have, a bolt on each, but overall it was a pretty easy swap. I haven't been able to find any other useful videos on fixing the P0441 code online, so I figured I'd make one. I hope it's helpful. So I've got the check engine light on in my 1998 Toyota 4Runner, and I hooked up my code scanner, and it's giving me a P0441 code, which is the evap emission system incorrect purge flow. I looked it up on some forums online, and it's looking like it is the evap canister assembly, charcoal canister assembly. So I've just gone down to my local pull apart and picked one up. This is what it looks like. It was pretty easy to remove, so hopefully it's just as easy to put back in. So under the hood, it is just right here. You can identify really easily by these 2 things. I think these are the charcoal canisters, and to get it off, it's really just this bolt, and this bolt. And then of course you're gonna have to rip all these tubes out. The one that I bought from Pull Apart, this little sensor is kind of jacked up, so I'm hoping I can just swap this onto the new one. And all these bolts are pretty easy. I think they're 9mm. The hardest part is going to be getting some of these smaller tubes off without like this one right here, without screwing that up. So let's give it a try. Okay, so I misspoke earlier. It looks like all the bolts are going to be 10mm. And there's one that I missed. If you bought a new evap canister, or your little sensor here isn't jacked up, you won't need this, but there is a 4th bolt right here that's also 10mm. So pretty much all you're gonna need for this is a ratchet with a 10mm socket, some needle nose pliers for getting some of these quick snaps off the tubing. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a picture or 2 of the way all these tubes are fitted on here, so I don't lose track of where they go back onto the new one. All right, I've taken a few pictures so I know where all the tubes go back onto. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just start, removing some of these hoses. These are pretty easy with your needle nose. Just, slide that little clasp off and then just give it a gentle tug. I'm not gonna take any of these off because, once again, I'm just gonna reconnect that to my new one and hope that the old sensor is working. So I'm just gonna cut this off real quick and remove all these tubes before I start recording again. Okay, so I've got all the hoses off. This one, these two, they're really not wanting to come off right there and there, so I'm just gonna pop them onto the new sensor. This one, and then there's one down here I haven't gotten yet. I'm waiting to unscrew this and pull this off before I get to that one. So now I'm just gonna start unscrewing this right here. Okay, I've got this guy disconnected, but that back hose still isn't wanting to come off. So I'm just gonna undo the bolts, get the evap canister assembly loose, and hopefully it'll be easier to pop then. Okay, I've got them all loose. Sorry, it was hard to hold the camera and use my shitty ratchet, but it's just that one, and then this one right here. Once you've got those 3 bolts and the hose is loose, you are free. Sorry, I misspoke. There's one more bolt right here to get this assembly loose. It's just on the right-hand side right there. Okay, now I have everything disconnected, and this thing just pulls right out. So I'm gonna set it over here and start putting the new one in. All right, I've set the new one in. Just got it lined up on that bolt sticking up, and then the holes for these. And now I'm just gonna screw the body in place and then start hooking hoses and stuff back up. Okay, so I've got the new one on. I've got all the hoses connected. This one right here again was a bitch. This little thing gave me a bunch of trouble, but nothing was that terrible. I mean, all these 3 bolts just popped right back in. So now that I've got the new one in, I'm gonna go crank my car up. If the code's still there, I'm gonna clear it. Then I'm gonna turn my car off, disconnect the battery cables, and do a hard reset. And but hopefully the check engine light went away and everything's good to go. So I cranked it up. It sounded really good when I cranked it up, better than it usually does. Maybe that's just me being crazy, but the check engine light's still there, so I'm running the code, and we're gonna see what it says. Yeah, it's still this P0441. I'm gonna clear the code and see what that does. All right, so I've cleared the code. Just gonna crank it up. No fucking check engine light. Awesome. And I am just gonna do like a 15-minute just cruise, and hopefully this bastard doesn't come back. So after about 15 minutes of driving, I still don't have the code, but sometimes, you know, it takes a day or two for it to pop back up. So if it does, you know, I'll just post in the comments or something. I'll post if it does or does not. If it stays off, I'll keep it. I'll throw a comment out there. But other than that, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. And If you have any questions, just throw them down in the comments. Thanks.